our next topic is very important for Bangladesh, which is the digitalization of education in schools and cybersecurity of the children. We live in a tech-savvy world which is rapidly evolving due to the advancement, in other words, what we call digitalization. With newer technologies, we're getting exposed to bigger threats from hackers who are rapidly finding sophisticated ways to conduct cyber crimes. It won't be wrong to say that such cyber crimes are gaining around in the education sector as more and more breaches in schools and higher education are widely reported. It is therefore becomes imperative to cover and protect the education sector with cybersecurity. Now, I would like to welcome our honorable speaker, Mr. Dr. Javed Chaudhry from Australia. He's going to take a session about digitalization of education in schools and cybersecurity of children. The session will be for 30 minutes with Q&A. Mr. Javed, please tell us more about this 3-year presentation, and the floor is all yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Rafsan. So, as Rafsana said, it's a very important topic. Cybersecurity is as important for the children as for the adults, if not more. So, and especially during the COVID, as students are moving towards online platforms, the risk is higher than never before. So this is absolutely a prime time to talk about cybersecurity, especially for the kids and teenagers, and for the loved ones that we have. So I am Javed, and I'm from La Trobe University in Australia. A little bit more about myself. You can see, like, I'm working as a lecturer in La Trobe University in Melbourne, Australia. My research interest is mainly in blockchain and cybersecurity. I'm also working as a technical advisor for Australian startup companies. And in Bangladesh, I was working as a programmer in, many of you maybe know about that program, 8Y program. And most importantly, I'm a father of a very lovely 3-year-old son who is also very techno-savvy. And that's why this topic is so much close to my heart. And whenever the organizing committee approached me, I kind of take this subject and I want to talk about it. I want to share my experience with you. Hopefully, next 20 minutes you will be with me in this journey. So, before going into the topics, so today it is not a kind of a technical session in that sense. I will be just sharing my experience and what I do as a father of a 3-year-old son. So, according to Kaspersky report, especially for the kids, in that report they said like 73% of our kids or teenagers, for that matter, they cannot kind of think of their life without mobile phone or internet. So this is a kind of a new generation of people, new generation of digital savvy people, which are more or less different than ours. We get to know about about internet or mobile phone very later in our life, but these generations, they get hold of this internet or digital device from very early from their life, and they think of this as a kind of a part and parcel of their life. So that's a kind of a very much a change than our childhood. In terms of the online presence, 44% kids between 8 to 16, they see themselves like continuously online. So that's another phenomenal trend that we see in terms of the online presence of our teenagers. 40% of the children, they release sensitive informations, like, for example, their real name, their age, their home address. Sometimes, like, you have heard that, like, you can find they've posted in social media that I'm alone at my home and my parents is not there. So these kind of informations are really sensitive, because when your child is alone and posting that one into their social media, bad people can easily see those informations, and then they can harm your child. So that's another kind of risk factor that is being generated due to the online presence or continuous online presence of our teenagers. In terms of, like, we know that many of this content in online are age restricted, especially if you go to YouTube or any other social media for that matter. Then you will see that there is an age restrictions. But according to this report, 1/3 of our children, they lie about their age to get access to those kind of contents which are maybe not appropriate for their age group. So that is another thing that is very, very concerning. In terms of the experience, like online danger, bullying, and all those things, yes, 30% of the children, they say like they have experienced some sort of bullying or some kind of threat in their online life. So this is very, very alarming. Like you see, like 37% means 1/3 of our children has experienced some kind of threat or some kind of problem in their online presence or online experience. So this is serious, and we must have to take care of this and educate our children about how to remain safe. Definitely, I'm not kind of saying that like discourage them to be online, because that is very, very important. That is the new way of life. They really need to know how to be online, but at the same time, it is very important that we teach them how to remain safe online. As I was speaking, COVID has really made lots of the things much faster. Yes, definitely the digitization process has not been started in 2020. It has started much earlier, but the pace of change and pace of digitalization has really, really accelerated due to lockdowns and all those things. So uh, now with this new kind of ad hoc or fast moving digitalization has created lots of problems, like without even with the preparations, it is tough to kind of protect yourself online. But without much preparation, we really rushed into the online platform, and that creates the problem even more worse. So we really didn't teach our children how to remain safe, how to be like in Zoom always, but keep yourself safe in terms of your cameras, in terms of your personal information sharing, or any other information for that matter. So that's why it is again a very good time to kind of talk about this kind of danger with them, because they already have experience kind of online experience. So let's take this opportunity to kind of discuss few of the things and set few of the rules with our children. And there is an important role of the school. I'm not sure, like in our audience, how many are there from the school or like school teachers or that community. But school has a very important role to play, and definitely there are multiple stakeholders here, but school had to take that lead and educate our children about that online danger and how to remain safe. And I would suggest that bring this into the online curriculum, that and discuss it in the class. That's very important, because this is a new way of life. This is a new way of teaching. So the safety aspect of the children must have to be within the curriculum, or if it is not formal curriculum, but need to be taught in the class. That's what I think. The new digitalization of education uh, has definitely has tremendous benefit, but it has associated risk, and we must have to take that consideration in our curriculum. And on top of that, school must have to have a incident response team. We know that in an enterprise, there is always a team, cybersecurity team, who if there's a hacking incident happen in an organization or in an enterprise, then there's an incident response team, like how to deal with that particular situation. So every school, in my opinion, should have that incident response team, like maybe it is a dedicated teacher who has some kind of knowledge about cyber safety and cyber security, especially safety. I'm not really talking about cyber security in this session. We are mainly talking about cyber safety. So, and cyber safety is much more kind of common sense and kind of general knowledge than the like specialized cyber security knowledge. So, and that is, everybody can be a cyber safety expert. It's not a difficult thing to achieve. So I would suggest like school should dedicate one or two teachers who really know about the cyber safety aspect or how to remain safe online. And students should have a kind of access to that particular teacher so that they can discuss if there is an incident. In terms of the stake.
My apologies, Mr. Javed Chaudhary. We just have an announcement for the audience.
Yeah,
I would
sure.
just quickly like to announce that. I'm sorry for the interruption.
No, absolutely. No problem.
Those of the people who are from the audience have registered for the hackathon. The link will be in your email address for the 3:30 to join the hackathon. You will get the link and you have to just go follow the process and you can join the hackathon from 3:30. Thank you.
Okay. No, it's Mustafa. So as I was speaking, cyber safety is a multi-stakeholder responsibilities, and the way I see it, at least it has three main stakeholders: the children themselves, the parents, and the school. So all the three stakeholders need to be aware and work together to keep our children safe. And definitely government and private sectors, they can play and should play a very strong role to bring that awareness or create resources that can be used by the children, parents, and school as well. In terms of the risk factors for the children, I think risk comes from three kinds of people. One is the stranger or the bad people who kind of pretend to be their friend or mentors or family members or something, who has bad intentions. So they load the student, like the children, to do something that they shouldn't do. And that's one kind of bad people. The second kind of bad people in this or the risk factor is the peers, like the classmates. Some of the classmates may be not that good, and they can bully your children, they can bully others, they can bully individually, they can bully in a group. That could be a very dangerous phenomena for your children. So it's not that always an adult bad person can be a bad influence to your children. It can be their peers, like their friend or their classmates. So we have to kind of consider that one when we kind of deal with the cyber safety of the children. And then comes the self-inflicting risk. Like, for example, your child is kind of playing games, and then suddenly they have clicked on some link, and that a malware got installed into the machine. Or like they were kind of got an email and they clicked it, and then they asked the username password, and your child gave the username password. We usually call in cybersecurity, call them phishing. So these kind of things happen. So it can come from three aspects. One is the bad person, adult bad person. Another is the peers means like the classmate, friends, and kind of same age of people. And then comes the self-inflicting danger or risk. And we have to be careful about all three fronts. In terms of the risk, definitely the most commonly known cyber threat that we kind of heard about the children is cyberbullying or cyber stalking. Then comes this cyber predators who kind of pretend to be a good person online, but they do bad things to the children. Then the risk is like children posting some of the personal information about themselves, about their parents, about their relatives. So that's a bad phenomena. Or like posting some images that they should not, or videos they should not post, but they are posting it. So that kind of thing is a danger. Then comes the phishing, like they got an email, like if you click on this email, then you will get kind of some kind of prize, and when they click on, then maybe they ask for the username, password, or some kind of payment. So those kind of things happen, and we have to be kind of aware about this kind of attacks, and we need to talk about them with the children. Then comes, yes, different kinds of lotteries and all those things, game points, the free access to gaming software or hardware. Those kind of things is a quite common in terms of the child safety and child abuse. So bad people use this kind of scam to kind of load the children, especially the teenagers. Then we talked about the accidentally downloading malwares. That's another thing happens, especially as more and more people are going into online gamings and things, and bad people inject malware URLs into those game URLs, and then children install those malwares unknowingly. Then especially for the female, like posting personal image or personal videos is a serious threat. Maybe at the early of their teenage life, they are not really aware about what they are posting online, but it could be very embarrassing for them when they when they will get adult. And unfortunately, there's one bad thing about internet is you cannot delete anything from internet. Even if you delete it from your profile, but it will never be deleted if someone has copied it somewhere in some places. So that's what we need to talk to the children about, this kind of dangers. Maybe they think that, okay, fine, if I post it into my Instagram reel, I'll delete, I can delete it like maybe tomorrow or day after tomorrow. But this cannot be done if, as I said, like if some people store it in some other places, or the platform itself store it in some places. So you cannot like delete everything from internet. So that's a big problem. Online gaming, yes, it's a kind of a problem in the sense, in terms of the danger like that it brings in terms of malware and all those things, and also some kind of addiction. And that's what we have seen in teenage domain or community, that like some of the students and the children, they get really addicted to those games. And we have to set rules for our children, like how we deal with it, and what kind of screen time we allow for our kids. And we have to train it from the very early age, maybe from like age of 3, 4, 5. We put some kind of rules or put some kind of discipline. In terms of the source of the danger, it can come from, as I said, like it can come from the social network, as a physical person, or like social media person, or it can be like technical problems like malware and softwares. And we must have to be aware about this risk, and we have to plan how we deal with these risks. And that's why, if I summarize my talk today, because it's only a 20 minutes talk, I want to focus on something tangible output of this session. What we do, like we know about this problem. It's not something that I'm talking something that you don't know, but how we deal with that, because everybody at home have those kids or teenagers, maybe as a children, or as a brother or sister or someone we love. So the defense mechanisms, or like the kind of protection mechanism, should be, let's have a talk with them, sit with them and talk with them. And we set a certain rules, like this is how you should behave online. And maybe from the very early age, we put some put some barrier on the screen time. They should not be like online all the time. There should be a 1 hour, 30 minutes, 90 minutes, whatever rules you set. You should set that like this is the amount of time you can be online, not more than that. You can only go to certain apps. You cannot go to all the apps that we see in internet. You can install certain games. You should not be installing any violent and sexually exploited games. So there should be a certain rule around that. Especially in terms of the gaming accounts and those things, don't set your real name. Put like some anonymous name, or if possible, play anonymous. Okay, don't pay anything. Many of the games has in-app purchase capabilities, so make sure that your children doesn't have access to your credit card numbers and other things. And also make sure they cannot, or like talk to them that like, yeah, you cannot do in-app purchase. So those kind of rules need to be set, need to be talked to them. But one thing is very, very important here. Okay, I am not suggesting in any way don't allow them to go online. Definitely allow them to go online, but focus on the empowerment, not of fear. That's the kind of message. If I want to like summarize my today's talk, it is about how we can empower my children or the someone we love, that they can be safe online. So don't kind of put pressure on them. Don't make fear a factor. Let's empower them and create a more kind of a trusting environment, so that if they face any problem, they can come to you. They can come to you as a kind of solution provider than a kind of a threat. Okay, so create that environment at home, set some rules for the online behavior, and create a more kind of a trusting and respectful environment. In terms of tools that can help you to keep your children safe, definitely you should use antivirus softwares, anti-phishing softwares. Anti-phishing, there are lots of free anti-phishing add-ons for the browsers and the content blockers. There are so many browser add-ons there. You can install them in your browser. Make sure that your children use strong password. And most importantly, there should be parental control. Parental control is already there in the operating system itself. So you can use Microsoft Windows parental control capabilities. At the same time, if you have money to spare, then definitely there are so many industry leading parental control softwares. I just share some of them. It's not definitely not explicit list, but I just share some of them. If you see my slide, Custodio Parental or Kaspersky or Norton. There are so many of them. You can just go to online, and maybe you'll find many more. So use any of these softwares and at least put some kind of parental control. Even if you don't want to buy any software, parental control software, but use the parental control mechanisms in the operating systems, and don't give them root access in your machine. Create an account. Even if like they use the shared computer at your home, create a separate account for them with less permission, so that they cannot install anything in your machine, and they have certain capabilities in terms of apps. Make sure that they only use kids friendly apps. So these kind of controls you have to put into your devices if you want to keep your children safe. Last but not the least is I'm just sharing some of the links that in Australia we use, and they are widely shared in the school. That has been practiced in the school. Students go through this, like especially school students, they go through these resources. Uh, uh, Unfortunately, all of them are in English. If you have time and the things, then maybe you can kind of translate it into Bengali and kind of share in your school if you want that Bengali is the right language to kind of share these resources. But these are very much kids friendly way. to teach cyber safety to the children. And there are resources both for the school, for the parents, and for the students. So you can definitely go through these URLs. You can take a screenshot of this URL, and maybe you use some of them in your capacity. And that's it from my side. And thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. If you want to reach out to me, this is my email address. Just shoot an email. I'll be happy to kind of talk to you. And thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Javed Chaudhary. I really loved how you have like aligned your personal and professional experience all together, and how you use your personal experience as a father of 3 children as well. It was really helpful, and I'm thinking it will be very helpful for all the parents out there, and also for all the people who have kids in their home, or who have children or a teenager. So thank you for sharing that with us, and thank you for your time. I think we have appreciation in the chat box, but we don't have any questions because your presentation was very easy to understand. I think so. What that might be the reason. Thank you so much for being with us once again.